Hi everyone, your host Sidrameen is once again back with the inspiring story of a reverted sister. Today, we share the journey of a woman originally from southern Russia who grew up in a largely non religious environment. With time, life led her to Dubai, where unexpected blessings opened her heart to questions she had never asked before. What began as curiosity soon turned into a search for truth, ultimately guiding her towards Islam. Her transformation from misconceptions shaped by media to discovering the beauty, respect, and high morals of the faith is truly a story of guidance, courage, and Allah's perfect timings. But before we begin, a humble request, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe it now. Jazakumullah.
I am from the southern part of Russia. Officially, Christianity, specifically Orthodoxy, is the dominant religion there. But in reality, most people are agnostic. They acknowledge that God exists, yet they do not practice any religion. In my teenage years, I felt drawn a few times toward learning about faith, but because religion was not part of our culture or our family life, I never knew where to start. Every time the desire to explore religion came, I felt lost. So by the time I first came across Islam in a Muslim country, I had become almost an atheist. I believed mostly in the power of the human mind, that you could project your future, plan your life, and stay fully in control. Psychology, in a way, became my religion. But when I came to Dubai, things in my life started going in directions I never planned, far better than anything I had imagined. Suddenly, I began to wonder, if I didn't manifest or orchestrate all this, then who did? When things go wrong, we often blame misfortune, but when things go unexpectedly right and we know we had nothing to do with it, it creates a moment of awakening. For me, it was the first time I felt a need for gratitude towards something or someone greater than myself. This was the beginning of my curiosity about religion, though not specifically Islam yet. Before truly learning about Islam, my perception came from Western media, just like movies, news, TV shows, etc., all of which portrayed Islam as violent, dangerous, and oppressive. When I traveled to my first Muslim country about 12 years ago, my mother was very worried. Even though I knew it was a safe and developed place, the media image of Islam weighed heavily on both of us. But upon arriving, my entire perception was shattered. Within my first or second day in the UAE, I encountered something surprising: separate seating for women at the metro station. When a few men saw me approaching, they immediately stood up to give me the women-designated spot. Inside the metro, I found a whole separate carriage for women and children. It was such a strange yet beautiful feeling. I felt respected, special, just because I was a woman. This was my first interaction with Islamic values, and it touched my heart deeply. I had always heard Islam oppresses women, but here I was experiencing the opposite. It made me wonder whether this was cultural or religious. Later, I learned it was rooted in Islam itself, as the culture and laws in the UAE are heavily based on Islamic principles. This sparked my curiosity, and I began reading more. Allah sent Muslim friends into my life from different backgrounds, born Muslims from the Middle East, Africa, and even a Russian revert from St. Petersburg who became a dear friend. I asked questions, observed, learned, and little by little I found myself falling in love with Islam. As I continued studying, I realized Islam is a religion of incredibly high morals, something I felt was missing in my life. But I wanted to be fair, so I began studying Christianity again, wondering if perhaps all religions had similar morality. I even looked into Judaism, especially how women are treated in those faiths, because the honor and respect I saw Islam give to women was something I never experienced growing up in Russia. But the more I read, the more I felt emotionally unmoved by everything except Islam. Islam touched my heart in a way nothing else did. I continued learning, and at some point, I subconsciously knew I was considering becoming Muslim. One day, before a work trip to Bahrain, I read a very thin book about sins in Islam. As I finished it, I realized I wasn't doing any of the major sins listed. That moment made me think maybe I can be a Muslim. During my flight to Bahrain, we experienced turbulence, the first time in my life, and I was terrified. I kept thinking, what if I die right now? I will die not as a Muslim. What will happen to me? That thought stayed with me throughout the trip. When I returned to Dubai a couple of days later, sitting in the car from the airport with a shawarma in hand, I realized something with absolute clarity. If I leave this world today, my biggest regret would be not accepting Islam. And so, in that car, I said my Shahada. I became a Muslim. I believe that when a person makes a sincere decision for the sake of Allah, Allah tests them, especially at their weakest point. Every new Muslim faces trials, and I had mine too. They were very personal, but Alhamdulillah, I recognized them and learned from them. One of my biggest challenges was adjusting my life around the 5 daily prayers. Another challenge was hijab. I feared that wearing hijab would affect my job, and for a long time, this fear prevented me from embracing Islam fully. I thought, if I can't wear hijab, should I even become Muslim? Will I be a bad Muslim? Maybe it's better to stay Christian than to be a Muslim who cannot fulfill Islamic duties. This hesitation held me back. After I reverted, I did not wear hijab for a year and a half. I justified it by thinking, there are many Muslim women who don't wear hijab. Maybe I can be one of them. I planned to live as a Muslim without the hijab, but Allah had different plans. Today, I have been wearing hijab for almost 10 years, Alhamdulillah, and I have never regretted it, not even once. This is my journey to Islam. Alhamdulillah.